Everybody, once again, you're in for a treat because I've got the one, the only, Sir King Dominick Izzo of the OG Wing Chun YouTube world community. Is that a thing?
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, here we're just gonna jump right into my intro.
Pow pow, inside fighting, yeah, dangerous martial arts. Pow pow, ooh ah.
So I want to give you props. Number one, you reached out to me when you saw my Wing Chun video, which I was a little bit critical in, but you were one of those few people.
Because it was a great video. It was a fucking great video, dude.
Thank you, brother.
Welcome.
But what I liked about what you did is you broke down every criticism I had, and you said, does this have value? Does it not have value? And here's my answer to it. And very few martial artists are willing to do that. So you kick ass, bro.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you had a great video. I think I did like a commentary on it. Yours was the first one I did, and then that led me into wanting to do the whole series, the martial art podcast that I do. But I was like, this is a great video. Here's somebody who understands how to criticize it without just going, oh, it sucks. Show me it work in MMA. Oh, why doesn't you ever see anybody in MMA? Shut the fuck up. So you didn't do that. So I went, okay, and it was a great video. Yeah, there's very few of you guys out there that I respect. You're one of them.
Thank you, man. I respect you too.
Appreciate it.
And on that note, I hope people follow you. I'm going to put all your information for people to follow you in the description below. So everyone, check out the description. Support people who support you.
Yeah, we're the only Izzo Wing Chun YouTube channel out there that tells you Wing Chun how it should be, not this patty cake bullshit floppy hand. We got real Wing Chun.
On that note, because you're like a reality-based guy, and you were a Leo, you were in law enforcement, you've done a ton of stuff. Were you a bouncer also?
No, I was I was a bartender. Here's the problem: is I had bad short man disease. I'm only 5'7", and so I worked in a 4 a.m. bar. So anytime that there were fights, you'd look at one of the other, there's a couple of us bartenders. You look at the other bartenders, watch the tips, and then we'd jump over the bar and get into it. So no, I made more money as a bartender, but I got to play with the doorman. So I'm not ashamed to say that either.
No, it's awesome. And it gave you real world experience like everything else you did. So you're not just out there in the theoretical, you put it to the test a lot.
I did a couple of times. Anytime somebody sits there and they talk about my Wing Chun experience, I'm very blessed enough to have there's a Chicago Tribune article where I was honored for disarming a guy who stuck a knife in my face. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. I have no real world experience. Here you go. So I use that for leverage every now and then.
You know what else is great? You have a background in wrestling, and you've actually shown and discussed, and I've talked about this also, how Wing Chun, stickiness, all those drills that people criticize actually make your wrestling much better, your grappling much better, because I do it in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I noticed you talk about that. That was awesome.
Everything lives in grappling space. Even if you look at boxing, how often do the boxers clinch?
Well, they clinch all the time. Fights always end up in the clinch.
All the time. So what blows me away is I've said this for years. If you can't see that Wing Chun lives in grappling space, I mean, the biggest problem Wing Chun has is people don't know how to close the gap. That's it. That's the fundamental flaw in Wing Chun, is that people say, well, you need a long distance art to wind up closing the gap in the first. No, you need to know how to close it. That's it. Once you get there, it all lives in grappling space. Everything that you can, and Wing Chun has no ground game. Well, this will piss people off. That's like saying boxing has no ground game. Can you lay on your back and punch somebody while you're laying on your back? Yeah, boxing has ground game. I'm so tired of this shit. It's all a fight. There's two zones, there's two ranges, no contact and contact, and then a fight is standing up, laying down. I don't give a shit where it's at. So I think that people they break it all down to make money off of their art and perpetuate schools and the fight game and all this shit. But it's all theory. It's all giant theory. So.
Okay, amazing. Well, I have a fun thing for us to do today. We're gonna watch a little street beef fight. So it's a viewing party for everyone involved, and we're gonna have a master break down a supposed master in Wing Chun. So
yes.
Let's see what happens over here. It's gonna get real exciting. Okay, so the guy on the left, whose name is Xiao Long, is that his name?
I guess Zhao Long. Is it
Xiao
X
Long.
is pronounced Z, right?
You tell me. I have no idea.
I don't know. You're way more versed in every other art in the world, and I watch your shit all the time for education.
I am actually just inquisitive. I don't know how. I've trained in.
The hell you are? No, dude. Your breakdowns of other arts are fantastic. Give yourself a little bit credit. I think you are an amazing desk reference for people if they ever want to discern whether or not to go into a martial art that includes Wing Chun. They should go to your content and check it out.
Thanks, man. All right, well, let's jump in and watch this craziness right here. And whenever you want me to pause, just say pause and break it down. This is, I'd actually, because I can't come into this from a perspective of is this Wing Chun, is it not? And often, people always say when they're watching something, oh, well, like if the guy's losing, they go, well, that's not real Kyokushin. That's not real boxing. That's not real Wing Chun. So I'm just curious kind of what he does that's right and what he does that's wrong from your perspective.
And let's look at the stats here. The 5'8" and 5'7", 141, 151. These are small guys. 29, 36. And okay. All right, yeah.
It's fighting Peanut. I mean, that you automatically don't get points even if you win if the guy's name you're fighting is Peanut, unfortunately.
No, I want to report him for the local police department to see if he's around kids too much.
I'm wondering if I'm going to fast forward here a little bit. Let's just get it to. They're doing their little intros. Should I turn on the volume? What do you think?
Whatever, dude. Yeah, we could add to that.
Brand HK USA. Check them out. Also check out Kicking It with Chicken. Support us.
It's an MMA fight. Went over the rules before the fight. Do you have any questions?
No question.
Do you have any questions? Okay, touch gloves if you'd like. To your corners.
That kid's gonna get rocked. You can already tell.
Right, are you ready?
Already
Right,
tell.
are you ready? Scrap.
Yeah, I can get.
Okay. Wait a second. Let's go back for a second. Go.
I got to pause it. I'm making you
All
big
right.
already.
What? Oh, who is he? He's where's his school of Wing Chun from? Where's that back of his shirt? Oh, you took the screen off. Where'd you go?
Okay, I'm going back to it.
We gotta go back to that for a second. Is it Ken Edwards School of Wing? What does he say? Ken Edwards? Is that what his shirt says?
Let me see if I move you over here. What that says.
Oh, it says
Edwards.
Edwards School. I can't say ANAN. First, we gotta look at Edwards School of Wing Chun. First, we got to find out his lineage. Sifu Brian Edwards.
Yeah, that's for sure right.
Well, no. Yeah,
Is it not? Do they
I
not
don't
have
know
the
if
same
he is-
logo? I see
I'm-
A and K.
Right, I see that too. But he's there. These guys are out in Washington, right?
Well, I don't know where Street Beefs happened, but look up Xiao Long, Edwards School of Wing Chun.
All right. Anyways, that first thing he did, I don't know why it worked so well on that guy. That was embarrassing. I mean, it shouldn't have worked. Here's the deal. This kid came in. The biggest misconception, and you can see it in Wing Chun, is relaxed energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people think, and it's I don't know if you've heard this in your other arts, where you shouldn't lift weights or be muscular or bodybuild if you're in martial arts. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. And the problem is it's a way to keep your students needing you more. Now, if you don't mind my asking, how tall are you?
I'm 5'8",
Okay, so you're an inch taller than me. How much do you weigh?
165.
I'm 235 pounds. Have you ever seen me move weights around?
Yeah, I have. You're a beast.
Okay. So now if you and I studied the exact same art under the exact same teacher for the exact same length of time, had the exact same comprehension, exact same technical skill sets, between the two of us, who do you think would have the advantage?
You. Power and size and mass are a massive advantage.
So why are we ignoring that, especially in Wing Chun? I can't stand when people talk about it. End of story. You're going to get guys getting their world rocked because this kid in the beginning, he went out so relaxed, and I cannot remember the episode. Who's the French legend who was in MMA? Pierre was shit.
George St. Pierre, you're talking about?
George St. Pierre, there was when they did that whole reality show on MMA, George St. Pierre was in. He brought in one of his kickboxing friends for an episode. Did you ever see the drunk episode?
Mm-hmm.
The reason he kicked everybody's ass so they couldn't touch him was he was so relaxed when he wound up sparring with them. It's the same reason too why people who get in car accidents when they're drunk always survive, is because their body is so relaxed on impact. So there's a benefit for it. But if you look at this kid, this is the problem they have, is they have far too many Wing Chun teachers keeping stuff, guarding the rice bowl. They keep shit in school. They say, no, you don't need to lift weights. No. And then these guys wonder why they always get their ass kicked by their teacher, because they're not stronger. They're not, more powerful, all this, because teachers said I don't need to do this. I'm shocked to shit that this worked in a real, he gunsowed down. And them, I'm going to blame it on that other guy's shitty balance. But you saw in the beginning, he was just like,
yeah, super relaxed.
Oh, too much.
There's definitely a weird trend. I've experienced it in martial arts to tell me not to lift weights. Also, what I really liked about Kyokushin is they're like, no, bulk up, be as big as you can. We don't believe in weight classes. You want to be the toughest guy, be the strongest, biggest guy. That was just a part of the system. But when I boxed, they told me, no, stay lean, stay small, don't lift weights, don't get bulkier. And I'm like, well, that makes sense for the sport. It doesn't make sense for self-defense. So in sport martial arts, I understand it. You want to stay at a certain weight class. You can't bulk up too much, because then you're fighting bigger guys. So there's an intermediary there where you want to be as strong as you can at the optimal weight. But for self-defense, the bigger you are, the more advantage you have, like you said. So
yeah, there's a difference between being muscle and mass. I do know some people don't know how to use. If you look at Tyson Fury, he's not a muscular guy, but he's got mass. But then in my day, it was Evander Holyfield and Tyson. Who the hell's, those guys are beasts. Let's watch this again. Yeah. What is this?
You want me to pause it again?
Is it just me, or is it almost like the Wing Chun guy is aloof when he's getting hit and everything? Are you watching it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's weird.
It's amazing, actually. I'm enjoying it.
He's got okay.
He's checking the kicks.
He's got some good stuff. He had a good Quan Sao, a couple Bong Saos there.
Whoa, those kicks were slick.
Like
I didn't think Wing Chun has kicks like that.
No, the front kick that he's doing, they do, but we don't go higher than the sternum. But again, too, there's the thing, right? So if you kick him in the head like that, is that Wing Chun? Dude, why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? So I don't, it's just not commonly taught. Oh, bro, that was beautiful. Did you see what he did? So
let me rewind it.
Right there. That's bridging, and that is so important. I'm actually impressed with this guy right now. So most people in Wing Chun, what they try to do is block. The Pak Sao is the open hand, kind of like a parry. But most people, thanks to the misconception of the wooden dummy, they always slap shit out to the side. Wooden dummy, which is an entirely different conversation. You go into the core of the dummy. He threw up his bridging hand. So his two hands out is asking hand, answering hand. Man Sao, Wu Sao. That's this Wing Chun guard that everybody talks. He did it. When you lose contact, you throw something out there. And that bridge, which he met, which is just bridging the gap between him and his guy. He was perfect. He sat there, bridged the gap, made contact, and I don't know if he fired a shot after that, but that would be the automatic response after that.
Where he's converting you into a fan. We want something. This guy's going to get whooped.
There was the bridge again. The bridge again. Yeah, what is this, dude? I like this guy.
And exactly like you said, he's actually making contact right after it with a punch.
Right.
They got kicked in the groin there. That was a groin kick. Right in the testes. Didn't even take a break.
I'll take 3 minutes. What are you talking about? Give me my time. Okay, there we go. See?
Yeah.
I don't like the back fist. I never like being bladed because of exactly what's happening. This is one of the big reasons why Wing Chun does not stand bladed like JKD, is the guy could take your back like that. Like that. That's bladed shit does. Always face somebody. Yeah, it looks like he's training like he's sparring, or he's fighting like he's sparring. It doesn't look like he's fighting.
Oh, that was a big shot.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The other guy's throwing full blast and gassing out there, and he's kind of relaxed. He's preserved. He doesn't look tired at all compared to the other guy.
Oh, that's good. No.
Look, this you have to say something about composure. He's able to keep incredible composure here.
He's got some brilliant. It looks like he's just in class training.
And he's moving at, what's very unique about him? He's moving at, I guess the round's over, at just a steady pace. There's no like slow to fast movement. He's just kind of a flow of movement just coming at you.
I would have been gasping for air with my fat ass like 3 minutes ago or however long the round was. Once the bell rang, I'd be like, I'm done.
Do you want to keep in Wing Chun typically like a consistent speed, or is it a slow to explode kind of thing?
This back and forth is not what we want. This is sport, right?
Yeah.
The purpose of Wing Chun is once contact is made, you need to overwhelm them, right? For specifically what I'm talking about, I'm 49, I'm 235 pounds, I'm out of shape. Do you think I can go with these guys? So once I'm on top, the contact is made, it's got to be forward pressure, back them into a wall, and then you completely end it. It has to have that annihilation mindset. This is sparring fighting.
Well, he's being real aggressive now with the chain punching.
This is getting close to it. But he's
looking much better in this. Well, that was crazy.
Look at this. He's got some stuff. I'm liking him.
But then he did it, like he came out this round completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Probably felt the guy got tired after the first round, and he's not tired at all. And
choke him out. Okay, can we just say for argument, that guy sucks though too. No offense, they're in the ring, I'm not, but I don't know. And that guy's 36 and he's doing it. Okay, good for him too.
Well, Wing Chun won the day here. Xiaolong. Here's
the problem. This is the problem. I don't want that going out and representing Wing Chun. That's the problem. But hey, because what you'll get somebody who is a fucking animal going in there, and that kid will get his ass or anybody who studies that way will be like, oh, it's got to do it and go. It's relaxation, and they're gonna get their asses chewed up. That to me looked like it was in-house, in Kun, in dojo sparring challenge match for the day. That's what it looked like to me.
It's interesting because one of the fundamental differences between sport fighting and real self-defense systems is a big part of the intention and the taking of range. I notice real self-defense systems either are too far or they're too close, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to fight you in the sport range. You look at Muay Thai, boxing, Savat, almost any kickboxing, it doesn't matter which one. They're staying right in the danger zone because that's the nature of the sport. You have to do that, but that's not where I want to fight you in a real self-defense situation.
I don't know. It's amazing how the older you get, everything changes. And I look at, like, I'm always looking at things, right? There was a meme, some reel on Instagram of a woman who was at the airport with her. She's like, what my mind is saying when I'm at the airport with my husband, and they're walking down the bag of shit with her carry, and she's just singing songs in her head, and then it goes versus what my husband thinks, and he's a cop, and he's going, there's an egress over there, and there's an exit over there, and there's a bad guy. It's like that. So my mind, whenever I still look at people, it's like I'm still okay. Pin him at the elbow. Something like elbow though. I'm still doing that in my head. It's so weird. But as time goes on, now it's like the door's over there, take 3 steps back. And if they walk towards you, run out that way. Everything changes when you get older on the way that you perceive zone fighting too. Because I've also had to accept, I'm older, dude. I'm older. And there's somebody out there who's 26, who is 5'7", 235, who has a lot better conditioning than I do, who can last longer than 15 seconds. So what am I going to do? How close do I want to be, right, on this? And how long is my violence going to just come out? And then at 10 seconds, am I going to be gassed like crazy before my muscles are burning? My lungs are just on fire, all this shit. So everything changes, I think, when you get older. And it's like the old bull and the young bull. And I think I'm at that old bull age where everything's perceived differently. Interesting.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of protecting yourself however you can. So if that means getting away, that's option number one. What's interesting? Anytime I make any type of self-defense video, I think it goes without saying that running should be the first option, but it's crazy. If you don't mention it 15 times throughout the video, there'll be at least 100 comments of people being like, well, I would just run. Running is the best option, real self-defense is running. I'm like, this goes without saying, guys. You train a martial art for the situations where you cannot run. So it's just,
can you if your family's there? There's that other thing too, dude. It's like I don't carry anymore. You know, when I retired, I don't carry a pistol, especially the fact I'm in the Chicago area. If I use a pistol, I'll be the one that's being prosecuted. But I'm always looking, what kind of chair can I pick up? God forbid something happen. You know, so things are changed, and man, it's just really weird too how like the laws are changed. Do I want to hit somebody? Gum sow them, and then just elbow them? I'm going to jail, dude. So a lot of things have changed. Sadly, I think liberalism has killed self-defense. But it's like you still got that. What was that saying? Old tigers are the most dangerous at the end. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to my 60s because I think that in my 60s and 70s, I think my Wing Chun's gonna get a little bit like the pendulum will swing back, and I'll get more violent as time goes on with the way that I would express myself. So I'm very curious to see how my journey is. It's mental lately. If the last few years my Wing Chun journey has been very, very mental.
Meaning what? Do you mind expanding on that?
Tons of self-introspective, right? Even there are times where I will go a month or two without doing any of the forms, but I'll think about them. And it's just like going from all the way from how does the form relate to my life, or how does one of the principles of Wing Chun, like relaxation is a good principle, right? So if I'm getting an argument with somebody I'm dating and I'm so tensed, you know, in Wing Chun, if I'm tense in Wing Chun, I can't feel the information you're giving me. A lot of the demos we used to do is we used to have people, we used to blindfold people and touch their arm and tell them, okay, I've got my left arm on you. Now tell me when I'm going to kick you with my foot. And they could feel, because your whole body is linked up in a chain. It's nothing mystical at all. But the more relaxed you are versus tense, you could pick that information up. But I would put it into relationships. Okay, you're bitching about something. The more tense and angry I am, I can't solve this problem. So the more relaxed I am, I could hear you and I could tell you, get the fuck out and don't do whatever it is. But then that went back into Wing Chun so for a lot of my life, it was Wing Chun was principles and concepts, how you applied life, even on like domestic battery calls as a cop. Walk in all tense, can't see the guy over there, walk in relaxed. I could hear you, see the barking dog, see the guy over there, the kids over there. But now it went back into my Wing Chun. And I think it's because I took so much time off. Like I can't explain this. I can feel, and maybe it's because I've done the movements forever, bong and da and pak and tan, and I could literally, even if I'm driving, I think I'm so absorbed into the mental state of could be missing Wing Chun, missing teaching, missing training it. I could feel it a lot more. So where I'm at now is this really big synergistic concepts and how they apply, and then concepts going back in the art, and then playing weird scenarios in my head. Like I'm living Wing Chun in my head a lot lately.
The power of the mind when you're not training is actually fascinating. There's a guy, Lloyd Irving, who did the Grappler's Game Plan. If I remember correctly, he almost broke his back, or he had a major back injury. And he talked about how when he came back a year or two later, he was better at jiu-jitsu because he had just thought about it and worked it out. And he had been training so much. And this has happened to me when I was getting my black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I was training. I got my black belt, training. I felt like I was stuck, plateaued. I took a break for like 3 months. And I just thought about it. I'd roll on my own. I'd move around, or I'd play with people. And I let go of all the patterns and all the stiffness and all the things I'd been stuck doing, all the ego associated with it. And all of a sudden it became more fun, like a game again. And I found all these new pathways to moves that I would have never discovered had I not taken the break. So
yeah, off seasons were always the best. You know, I didn't improve going to practice as a wrestler. You take the off season and then you think about the matches you lost, and you could feel them. Like, holy crap. I took 5 years off of doing Wing Chun, came back, and I was like, oh, wait a second. Why am I better? What's going on here? Because you think about it. So that's why I'm aware of it, because I've done it before. So this season, I'm like, you don't need to chi sao all the time. You don't need to train all the time. You don't need to do any of this kind of stuff. I'm enjoying the theater of the mind with my Wing Chun.
You just got to be jacked and in the gym full time with huge biceps.
Which I have none of that and above, but yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, anything.
Why do you think Wing Chun gets the kind of rep it does and the kind of hate it does?
Specifically because what Bruce Lee did, and then where the idiots who came after that did. So my biggest gripe with Bruce Lee it's not him, it's the acolytes that followed him that looked, and what do they say? Well, Bruce threw away the uselessness of Wing Chun, the things that didn't work, right? Okay. Well, he only trained for 3 years. And if you really want to get technical, he went back to Wang Shunglong, and Wang Shunglong, who could kick his ass, wouldn't give him the rest of the system. Neither would Ip Man, all that stuff. I truly believe if Bruce Lee had come back to Wing Chun, he would have said, damn, I should have stayed here to begin with. The second thing is the representation, the bad, I don't know if it's the 80s movies or whatnot that taught the fantasy foo. You had people stop taking martial arts seriously, and it went into fantasy bullshit. I can't recall the guy's name, but there's a 100-man kumite on YouTube.
Yeah, Judd Reed.
Okay, yeah, that's him. Who trains like that? Not Wing Chun guys.
No, Kyokushin guys train. That's a Kyokushin guy. So yeah, that's how Kyokushin trains.
You wouldn't get it, and that's your art?
That's one of my arts, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no way in hell I would stand in front of you willingly and take a punch. Won't do it. There's a guy out here named John D. Pasquale, and he runs Illinois Shotokan Karate, one of the biggest Illinois Shotokan karate organizations in the world. And I knew him since I was like 18. He's got to be in his early 60s now, maybe. You could not pay me. It's like, hey, take a punch from Mr. D, and we'll pay this. No, dude, because I'm gonna have some bleeding inside or because those guys train real. Even if it's the knuckle push-ups, the sprints, the abs, we don't do that in Wing Chun. We show up for Chi Sao class. We show up for. There's a real in the Wing Chun community. There's a famous video that proves my point. Where there's a guy named Sean Obasi. And Sean Obasi was a student of Jose Grados, who was some real badass Wing Chun out of New York. And Sean went MMA, man, and he was winning some fights. He was going out there stacking ass, and he met up with Randy Williams. And Randy Williams had a ton to do with putting Wing Chun on the map in the 80s. And he had all the instructional VHSs and DVDs, and he knew people. He's like the Cynthia Rothrock era. And the video of them is they're chi saoing. Technically speaking, Randy, who's underneath Augustine Fong, I think was probably fantastic. Sean, again, who's under, was he underneath? I think he was underneath Augustine Fong, because so was Grados, who taught Sean Obasi. But Sean Obasi is a big man, 6 foot something, 230, whatever. And you hear as the Chi Sao, which is not Wing Chun, that's our other biggest mistake. You hear as the Chi Sao gets to be more aggressive, a bystander. Soft. Why? Why when things get heated up and muscles are going to tense, adrenaline's going to dump, people are going to start, technique's going to go out the window, and then you're going to get somebody clinching. And isn't that what happens in real fights? Yeah. The problem is we have let Chi Sao represent and dictate what Wing Chun is, and the skinnier, smaller, older person who just knows how to move can always win. And the number one indication of that is whenever you watch somebody Chi Saoing, who if they're older, watch them back up, because you can't hit what's not there. And if you go to hit me and I step back, you're punching into the void. So there's a lot of Wing Chun trickery in Chi Sao. Chi Sao has ruined Wing Chun reputation.
You know, I can't train, and I go visit a lot of martial arts schools just because I'm always curious. So if I'm in an area, I'm going to go to like 5 schools. I don't care what styles. I'm just going to go explore and try that out, the classes, see how they train. And 9 out of 10 schools nowadays, the reason I'm so attracted to Kyokushin and styles like that, even Muay Thai schools are not like this anymore, is because of the full contact, heavy duty sparring. Every Kyokushin school I've been to, every class, we stand and we trade. And a lot of people criticize Kyokushin, and it does have its negatives. But one thing it is giving me is solid contact over and over and over and over again, dealing with adrenaline, dealing with stress, dealing with my conditioning. And a huge part of fighting, real fighting, is who's the grittier, tougher guy who has better conditioning. Those are, like, if you're going to give me like 2 traits to have in a fight, grit and conditioning would be the two things I would take over technique, over power, over anything. I would just want to be grittier, and I'd want to out-condition you. And so that is something that gives me, and it's something that I've noticed a lot of martial arts. You know, I've gone to Wing Chun classes. They just don't. They want everything has to be so gentle. Yep. Everything has to be so.
Here's what it doesn't teach you. You have punched, even during training. You've punched another human being like in the sternum area, right? You've done that.
Yeah.
What people don't ever talk about is is it's not about how much energy you could deliver into a person. And this is the one thing about relaxation or Wing Chun relaxation that people don't get. You ever see the Wing Chun wall bags that they put rice or the purpose for the wall bag has nothing to do with toughening your fists, has nothing to do with toughening your ability to punch, all this shit. By default, it does happen. But the point of it, and this is where Wing Chun is lost, and I think why I got it so much easier is because I had a phenomenal base from wrestling, was when you punch another human being, that energy has to go into another human being. And if that person is solid, stronger, more dense, all this, out of fat, whatever, the energy has to go back into you. So when you hit the wall bag, you're hitting a literal immovable object. It's not like a pad. It's not like a hanging pad. The energy has to come back into you. So when it comes back into you, your body puts it out there. It's like, okay, where's this? You have to learn the shock absorption so that you can go back into your next hit or strike or whatever you want immediately. People don't teach that a lot in Wing Chun. They do not pay attention to the aspects of the energy coming back into you. That is why almost every Wing Chun guy gets his ass literally knocked down to the ground. They wind up getting in bad position is because they have no ability, like a shock absorber, to take that energy. I think kickboxing does. I think yours does. Yeah, I've seen some sad representation of Taekwondo. If you compare Taekwondo from now versus like the 70s and the 80s, I don't know what this stuff is now. But every other art that's where you hit, boxing especially, you're learning to take the energy back into you. Wing Chun, which is, I mean, it's got one of the definitive training tools out there that's supposed to teach you how to do that. They never focus on it. It's never, oh, you just hit somebody and nothing happened to them. How's your body? Are you in a position to sit there and hit again? Are you in a position to fire it? Or did you get knocked on your ass after you hit and remain stiff and you got knocked? So there's a ton of shit that Wing Chun has, just some real bad habits. It's
interesting because everything you just listed, all those styles have a combat sports aspect and Wing Chun doesn't. And maybe that's, as much as people trash, I'm a huge advocate of, you have your traditional and you have your sport, and there is a place for both in your training. And it doesn't have to be sport in the sense of like boxing, but you do need to have aliveness training with contact, with pressure, and with adrenaline. Otherwise, you're not going to know what you can and can't do. And I hate when people counter that by saying, well, I would just eye gouge. I would just kick you in the groin. It's like, okay, well.
Thomas Marks, what? Thomas Marks? You're out there, what? Sorry, JKD idiot from that's my view. That's not your view.
Yeah.
That's my view. He's just eye gouge. I just build you eye gouge. That was one of the other things that Bruce Lee did, which was so ridiculous. Yeah, you want to go ahead and take your unconditioned fingers and jam them into a person's skull, and they just move their head half an inch and break your fingers. Okay, go ahead, have at it.
Yeah, I mean, there is a place for it, obviously conditioning your hand, and then, the way a lot of fighters can keep their fingers out like this, you see in the UFC, that they accidentally result in eye gouges. Their eye gouges can be extremely effective, but if you're relying on your eye gouge as a way to defeat a more conditioned guy who's sparring a lot, you're in for a very rude awakening if you're not out there actively trying to eye gouge people every day in live training, which, I don't do that. I don't eye gouge people every day, so I'm not going to rely on it. Man, this has been awesome. We've gone 30 minutes already. I can't believe how much.
Wow.
What do you want to promote? Promote something.
So I started I started a podcast series. So I've very been blessed. I've been on YouTube for since 2012, early 2012, we started the channel. And my very first video was Wing Chun against a knife defense. And I look back, I'm like, oh my God, that's the stupidest thing I've ever put out there, but it's still out there. I've been blessed over the years to where I've had other martial artists come in. We've done Wing Chun all the way from JKD to a lot of JKD guys. 52 Blocks, Light Burley's been in with us, ton of stuff. And I'm not teaching so much on YouTube anymore. I may go back to it, but I started critiquing videos, which why not? But was my biggest passion lately has been doing podcasting of other martial artists on there. You were the first episode we did. It was fantastic. And the podcast is called Them's Fighting Words. It is available on a podcasting platform for the audio only. But yeah, the YouTube channel, we got Them's Fighting Words. We've had you on. I've had Light Burley from 52 Blocks. I've had 17 episodes. and we've had on some great martial artists talking about their arts, and we're just going to keep it going. It's just indefinite.
Well, you rock, man. I'm
That's
a
right.
huge fan, so I
That's
appreciate you coming on today.
That's right. Thanks for having me. Thanks for putting up with me.
Thank you, man.